You know that feeling, right? You start a new project, and you're just on fire with enthusiasm. But then, it just sort of fades. The half-written book, the gym membership card gathering dust, the diet that barely survived the weekend. It happens to all of us. But what if the reason we quit has nothing to do with what we think it does? Oof, this one probably hits a little too close to home. We all have it, that graveyard of amazing ideas and goals that we started but just never finished. And what's our first instinct? We blame ourselves. We think, I just don't have enough discipline. But hang on, what if we've been looking at this all wrong? For like forever, the advice has always been to just dig deeper, try harder, find more willpower. But maybe, just maybe, we've been fighting the wrong enemy this whole time. Okay, this is the big idea right here. Think about your willpower not as some kind of character trait, but as the battery on your phone. Every single decision you make all day, every little temptation you resist, it drains that battery. So by the end of the day, you're running on fumes. And that's exactly when you quit. The answer isn't to magically get a bigger battery, it's to build a system that doesn't need much battery in the first place. So if more willpower is a dead end, then what's the solution? Well, it turns out the answer lies in a couple of incredibly powerful ancient Japanese philosophies. They teach us how to create discipline not through brute force, but through really, really smart design. So first up, we have Shitsuke. The core idea here is to build a system so good that doing the right thing becomes the automatic, default option. It's about setting up your world, your environment, your rules, so that discipline isn't a choice you have to make when you're tired and weak. It's just what you do next. No debate necessary. And then, backing up that amazing system, you have Gaman. This is your mental toughness. It's what allows you to handle being uncomfortable. It completely reframes that feeling of wanting to quit. You know, the boredom, the struggle, the pouring rain. It sees it not as a big red stop sign, but as the cost of admission for getting better. Gaman is the engine that pushes you through when the system gets hard. Okay, that all sounds great in theory, but let's see how this stuff actually works in the real world. I want you to meet William. His story is basically a perfect case study of going from absolute rock bottom to incredible success, all because he stopped trying harder and started building a system. This was William's reality. He's 30 years old, he's living in a little apartment in Detroit, and this is every single penny he has to his name. He was a classic quitter. He'd quit jobs, relationships, you name it. And then William figured something out. It was a huge realization. His problem wasn't that he didn't want to succeed. His problem was the constant debate happening inside his own head. Every morning, it was this negotiation. Should I get up? Should I work out? Should I just start? And the side of him that just wanted to be comfortable, it won. Every single time. This became his new mantra. He just decided, you know what? I'm done. He was done waiting for some magical feeling of motivation to show up. He realized motivation is a flaky friend. It's never there when you actually need it. So instead, he decided to build a system, a Shitsuke system, that would work whether he felt like it or not. And the system William built, honestly, it was almost laughably simple. He designed it to be so small, so non-negotiable, that it was basically impossible to fail. And this tiny little foundation is what he used to completely rebuild his life. So, to get his consulting business off the ground, he didn't have a goal like make $1 million. Nope. His rule was just send 5 emails before 6 in the morning. No negotiation. And to make it even easier, this is pure Shitsuke, he'd set up his laptop the night before. The system made the action the default. And what about his health? He didn't sign up for a marathon. He made a new rule. Run 400 meters. That's it. That's 1 lap around his block. See, the point wasn't to get fit. The point was to build the unbreakable habit of just showing up every single day, no matter what. But of course, any system is going to get tested eventually, right? For William, that test came on a cold, miserable, rainy morning. This is the exact kind of moment where the old William would have rolled over and quit without even a second thought. Ah, there it is. You know this voice, that comfy, convincing little whisper in your head that says, come on, just skip today. It's just one day. It doesn't matter. You can always start again tomorrow. This is the negotiation that William had been losing his entire life. But this time, he had a new tool. And this is where the second philosophy, Gaman, kicks into gear. His Shitsuke system got him to the front door with his shoes on. But it was Gaman that was going to get him out into that rain. It was time to just endure the discomfort. This was the mental switch he flipped. William just told himself this one phrase over and over. Discomfort is not an emergency. The rain wasn't going to kill him. It wasn't a threat. It was just uncomfortable. And as Gaman teaches, that discomfort is the price of change. So he opened the door and he ran his 400 meters.
That single, soggy run in the rain, that was the real turning point. Because by not allowing a gap, by refusing to skip even one day, William started this incredible chain reaction that completely changed everything in his life.
I mean, just look at this transformation. 18 months later, those 5 little daily emails had turned into a 6-figure business. And that single 400-meter lap, that had turned him into a guy who ran 10 kilometers every day. This wasn't because of some heroic one-time effort. It was the simple, mathematical result of 547 small, consistent, unbroken promises to himself. And this right here, this really just breaks it all down. Relying on willpower means you're relying on a battery that dies when you get stressed. But a Shitsuke system, it creates default actions that literally protect you from your own worst instincts. It stops aiming for these huge, heroic leaps, and instead focuses on one simple, powerful goal: never, ever skip. And this is really the whole thing in a nutshell. The magic is not in doing a lot. The magic is in never doing zero. One push-up is infinitely more powerful than no push-ups. One email is 1,000,000 times better than sending none. That gap, that day you do zero, that's where good habits go to die. So how do you actually use this? It's really just a simple 3-step process. First, pick a rule for yourself that is so small it feels stupid. Just ridiculously easy. Second, promise yourself that on your absolute worst day, when everything is going wrong, you will do that tiny minimum. And third, the most important rule of all, never create a gap. Protect that streak like it's the most valuable thing you own. So, I'll just leave you with this one question. Don't worry about next month or even next week. Just think about today, right now. What is the one ridiculously small thing you can do to start your own system and make sure you never have a day of zero again?